update after update, working on my piece of shit as usual. Give you a look at where we're at. So we've got this bit here snapped off because of unbeknown reasons. Fish, who knows. Got this all grinded up. We're gonna get my gun guru welder Simon to help me out sticking this bit back on, so that will go on there. And we've got two laser cut pieces here. This one ideally is gonna go on underneath like that, and that will be fully welded all around underneath the lower section there. We'll also run a bead right around the top there with that piece put in there. And then once that bit's on the bottom, we have another bit here that ideally in hindsight will go somewhere on the top like that and weld right around the top. So we should have a good extra 25-30 mil of plate holding that broken piece back on. That's the idea. I mean, I could find another can, which is a standard replacement. A guy in Melbourne did have one, but he wanted a couple of grand for it. These laser cut pieces only cost me a couple of hundred, and obviously fixed Simon up for his efforts and his gun welding. This should be a lot beefier and stronger than a standard item. I've had other people reach out and have snapped theirs in the exact same spot. But if you ever have a look at a 300X can, they are actually considerably thicker at the bottom, and that's probably why you've never seen a 300X can snap like this has. Right, so we've got the front piece somewhat attached back on. Now it's time to beefing it up with some plates, and we'll see how that turns out. Next step. We've got this all cleaned up and the paint ground back so it doesn't draw any paint into the welds. As shit as these cans are, Mercury, I don't know what they've used when they cast these, but they're not top quality. But one thing that Mercury does have that's top quality is their paint, and sticks like shit to a blanket, and it's hard to get that stuff off.
I think I feel a little better.
So the next step is putting this support brace on the top. But what we've come to notice is, I'll give you a look, this piece here at the front, it's not perfectly straight. It's actually got a bit of meat and is thick in here, and it actually tapers and rolls all the way around this front edge here. We have prepped our plate and we've put some mitered edges on there. The square edge isn't going to sit perfectly into the midsection there, and so that plate fits pretty nice over the top there. We've had to modify some of the inside turns there to sit in there better. Simon said we're going to work from the back, stick it and transfer the heat towards the front there. Once we've got the main meat of the section welded to the trunk there, we'll get some clamps and we'll clamp this down, so then we can get a good bead around this edge where it doesn't follow true to how it is. So that's where we're at. We're about to put this top support brace on. We'll keep trying to fix this POS. So step one, we've got this plate, support plate welded on the top. I mean, it's not the prettiest I've ever seen, but dealing with cast alloy that's just got all sorts of different properties in it, it doesn't weld like Mickey Mouse alley should. But once again, like I always say, you got to piss with the dick you got.
Whoa, in! Stay in! Don't let it drip!
So now it's time for putting on the lower support brace. Had to cut back the template to here because obviously you have some exhaust relief holes that still come through out the back here. Alright, just before we buzz this second plate on, I'll give you a look how we've prepped it up. So that's how that plate's going to go on. We'll fully weld down around this outer edge, and that outer edge, as we did on the top one, just looking at it there, that's going to be well and truly like close to 30 mil thick, just as you would see on a 300X one. Right, the final piece to the puzzle is on. So the whole idea of this is where that crack The front piece had cracked in there. Obviously we can't get in there to weld. So structurally the best idea was to sandwich it with a plate this side and a plate this side to hold that front bit. I'll just give that bottom surface a light sand and make sure it has no burrs or edges on it. I've got a broken stud here that needs to be removed, and obviously that cracked through that front stud here. Yet to decide whether to run a helicoil in it or just tap it and put a new stud in it with Loctite. So the fun never ends. Next day, continuing on with trying to get this boat engine sorted. I've started to drill out that stud there so we can fit the appropriate size easy out in. Obviously, once again, YouTube to the rescue. YouTube everything that you don't know, so then you do know. I've just drilled that hole out, typically as large as I can without damaging the thread, just so I can use the biggest size easy out as possible. Thanks again to mates as always, like Clint reaching out and letting me borrow his tools. We're going to get a tap, and we're going to tap out that thread here that broke in that piece there. Not sure what to do there. I just figure tapping that thread out to be able to use as much thread as possible on that stud with Loctite is a better option than putting in a tiny helicoil that could just pull or not grab true. So I'll run a thread up there, we'll see how it feels, Loctite the shit out of it, and then yeah, we'll continue on trying to get this stud out without breaking anything. We've got acetylene canister here, so we'll heat up the can and give us the best chance possible to get that thread out without breaking an easy out. So I'll take a few little snippets as we go along the way. So just wait for that to cool down, and then I'll put my other new stud in. Then I've just got to clean up a little bit of weld, and then I'll hit all this with some edge primer, some black paint, and hopefully we might be right to test the boat tomorrow. It's Saturday now, so might be able to get out in the water on Sunday and put it through its paces and just double check nothing's coming loose or whatever. But I'll update you once I've put the new stud in, and we'll give it a lick of paint and fit the gearbox. But yeah, keep this up to date. Clint, I'm going to give you this back with the stud on it. I don't have a vise on my bench to be able to tighten that up and pull it out, but Clint, thanks for lending me your stuff, mate. Worked a treat, that heat and the acetylene. Yeah, heat fixes everything, makes everything so much easier. Thanks to all my mates in my corner helping me get back and try get this boat ready for the double dash. Got the broken stud removed. We tapped out the other one, put our new studs in, gave where the lower unit mates to the midsection of sand, so that was all sweet. And the gearbox went up all fine, bolted up good as it can be. None of the studs were out of alignment or anything like that. So that's telling me we've done somewhat the right job. I'll give you a look at it. So the lower unit's bolted up all fine. I've just gave it a spray with some cheap black paint. Obviously that's going to keep coming off as we go in the water all the time, but you know, just some cheap enamel will do the job. She's solid as a rock now. You could probably sit there and sand those welds and make them look pretty and whatnot, but I'd prefer just to paint straight over it. You're not going to see that the motor in the water while we're on it, and not sanding those welds will give it some more meat and some beef to keep the strength and rigidity about it. I'll probably just let that paint dry, give it another coat, and then we'll be right to kick it in the guts and run it on the muffs, because I haven't run it since we broke the midsection at Bundaberg. Come the double dash, we won't have anything to worry about, and we'll decide what category we're going to race in. Obviously, I'll probably bring a few clips of us testing tomorrow when we drop it in the water and make sure everything's honky-dory. It's currently 9:30 on Wednesday night. I didn't film packing the boat, getting the boat ready to drive down to Sydney to get ready for the double dash, because I've done something to my shoulder at work. I can hardly lift my arm above my shoulder, but we've managed to get the boat packed and ready. Watching a bit of Aussie no prep racing, just playing with the dog. Got the alarm set for 3 o'clock in the morning, so gonna get a few hours shut eye before we have to get up and make the long drive to Sydney. 11 odd hour drive, so it's going to be a mission. Yeah, the missus is going to really love waking up that time in the morning. Going to be dealing with the demon there. Got to do a few things to the boat. I want to drop the motor down another 25 mil, so it's about 45-50 mil below pad. Do an oil change on the lower unit. I haven't stripped the boat out. I'm just going to leave it in full trim with all the seats, rear seat, everything in it. I just can't be bothered taking it all out, so we'll just run it as it is. There's a few local boys that have reached out to me and contacted me and told me that they're going to be there early Friday morning, and I'll tag along with them because they know the river really well. Just get a feel for everything. I'll keep you updated as we get down there. Team Queensland just happened to all pull together at the same time in the local public toilet as usual. He's got beer in his hand. Old SK. Got spare motor and everything. And we've got the Dunger over there. On the toilet block. Still about 750 k's off Sydney, so keep at it. Always hanging out in the air. Well, we've made it to Windsor. We've got our accommodation. Doesn't look too bad. Got the boat parked down the side there. Nice little single bed cabin. It's actually very cheap and affordable, so anybody that wants to come down to Windsor and race, get yourself a little humble abode. The cabin's definitely a grower, not a shower. Let's see if we can be part of the race. So it's Friday morning. It's rained here at Windsor all night and it felt like ice cubes. It's freezing down this way. Hopefully there's not too much fog at the boat ramp. I think I'm probably due to do a water change on this gearbox. Don't know whether I want to do that now or not in the wet grass, so I might look at changing the oil in the gearbox. Well, it's usually water at the boat ramp. Yeah, just got to hook the battery up. I did want to lower the motor a little bit, but there's a few local boys that have reached out and contacted me. They're going to be at the ramp anytime now. So I might go down there, say g'day, and yeah, drop in and get them to show me the river and go for a run with some of the locals. Alright, so we're at the ramp, getting ready. A couple of the boys have turned up, and like I said, we'll just do a water change on this gearbox. I've seen it worse. I'm sure a lot of more people are going to be turning up here shortly. It's not as cold as last time I was here, but I won't hold my breath and talk too soon. Mate, Team Queensland taking hits everywhere.
I suppose you've got to spare one of the things that go on here. Did you lose them?
Oh, Timbo.
Yeah.
2 flat tyres and everything.
He left it behind.
We'll just about get tech inspected. Hopefully I don't find nothing wrong with the boat. All the boys are starting to line up behind me, as you can see. just do a little video. Thanks very much for your help, girls. Very well organised. Very well. I've never been to a better organised event.
Oh, well,
Thank you. Thank you. And this is the reason why I can't fly my drone. Yeah, there's an Air Force base nearby, so drones cannot even be activated or turned on in this area. I've already tried, so there won't be any drone footage.
I've done heaps of ones.
Pulling a bit of debris out of the water. Definitely don't want to find one of them. That's our first little test up the Hawkesbury River one way. Definitely generating a lot of torque steer with this prop. Don't know whether to drop it a bit more. I could even possibly wind up my bungees on one side a bit more. There's a couple of guys here, Rob and Luke, with a couple of props that they're willing to loan me to let me try as well. They're swearing by like a 25 pitch Fury. I know my Michigan wheel's very similar with the tube. It steers pretty easy with that, but I'll have to lower the motor a lot more considerably. But I might lower this down another 30-35 mil, so it's about 60 mil below pad, and just see how it feels in the wheel and how much torque it's generating there. So I don't want to get too like bumpy around those corners. It like starts getting out of shape and I just lose a lot of speed. I'll hit start again as we head back down. Team Queensland doing Team Queensland things. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad it's you and not me this time.
You'll be right. We'll be back in the game shortly.
Yeah.
You own America, you got to bring two of them.
Yeah, yeah. At least you're not like Scott and I'm meeting you at the public toilets randomly. The 280 block is the one that's had a drama now. And what are you putting the block that I got here, the fishing motor one?
175 fishing motor.
The 175 fishing motor, old trusty. Clint got this block off me and he actually swapped me the 3 litre for this block. So he stitched me up and now he's going back to old trusty fish race motor edition. But yeah, this is how you do it. On the lawn, lay it out like a garage sale. I don't think anyone will want to buy any of this stuff right now, but got Rob here helping me with my jack plate. The the bolt in the center of my jack plate was turning up and working its way itself out while I was trying to jack my motor up. So we're just fixing that, and I'm probably going to drop my motor down to its sweet spot at about 55 mil below pad. In the footage on my first run up the Hawkesbury just then, the boat was dancing a lot around corners while I was trying to throttle it, and one of you guys at home actually mentioned it in the comments that having it this high, the boat will actually prop walk, and that's what it was doing. Not only that, it was generating a shit ton of torque through the steering wheel, so I was really having to fight that just to steer it and work with it. So theory goes, just like you experienced guys know, the viewers at home, lowering it, more prop in the water, and hopefully it will steer better. At the straightaway out the back there, it'd start moving really good, and then I'd go to give it more trim. I'd look back and it was putting off like this low wash spray, and I was like, oh, it looks like it's dragging a bit in the water, so I'd give it a bit more trim, and then it'd just slip and it'd go even slower. Theory is we'll drop it, put more prop in the water, and we'll be able to trim it more and still get that propulsion going forward. I'm no guru, but this is just what we're going to test. Rob said he's got a couple of props I can try also if need be. We'll make these changes, and I don't know if I have enough time to go out again. Looks like there's a big rain cloud in the distance there about to hit us. We'll test again in the morning. The gearbox did hold up well though. None of the studs have backed out. None of the bolts have come undone or loose. It's still in one piece, it's not snapped. Old Team Queensland, got another power header part. Scotty's got the fishing motor back together again, kicking in the guts soon. Still got plenty of boats rolling in, getting scrutineered over the back there. So king of trim himself. I thought I had a Batmobile. This is a Batmobile. One of the big boys, one of the ultimate boats down there. See if I can zoom in far enough for you to have a look. This thing's a weapon. It's Saturday down at the Windsor boat ramp. It'll be another day of testing for us. Made those changes to the engine height. Might even try a different prop off Rob if you'll lend me one. Just go for another run up the river and see what it's like with the motor at that lower height. We worked out I used half a tank, so my boat holds about 86 litres, and it used bang on half a tank that run up and back. So whether or not I want to run the boat with a full tank or try and work out that it's just above half, so I've got enough, it might respond a bit better. Yet to decide. They got circuit racing on here today, Saturday. Our race is obviously tomorrow, but there's a lot more boats that have turned up, and I'll do a walk around and get some cool clips of all the different boats that are currently here. This is a weapon. This is me #1 supporter, River. Been following me from the start. He always sings out and says g'day to me and loves the work that I do. It's good to see you here, brother.
Thanks.
Yeah, this kid froths on boats, but especially Tennessee's. He's got on Facebook River Lambert, and his dad races. What's your dad's team?
Lambert Family Racing.
Lambert Family Racing, but this kid's a little legend. He always reaches out and asks me how I'm doing. on. That's it. It's on. It's an O-ring. So, because of the circuit racing on at Windsor boat ramp, we've chose to come to another boat ramp here at the Butterfly Farm, and I've just about lost my little tray back ute because this jetty's just all slime and I just started going. I didn't film any of it, but Tomo on Ministry of Trim here is having a good laugh at me.
He can't make this stuff up, this bloke. Look at him. Hey, shout out to Boatz in the Hood, Josh. Hey, he's a racer.
This is the stuff I don't even film.
Oi, bit of advice. You should have a YouTube channel for this sort of stuff. Shit happens, eh?
And I'll give you a look at this ramp. Just come tap the brakes and come slide down this ramp. I'm glad I didn't lose the truck. Old Timbo saved me with the Navara, locked in the hubs and dragged me back out again. We're just going to go for test 2 on Saturday. I hope everything goes well. The more I look at the river, the more I see crap in it and it worries me. So I'm not going to push it that hard. Once again, just get my head around the bends of the river and test out the speeds. But everywhere I look, I just see this. So yeah, it's daunting. I've said my prayers, man. That's all I can do. Anyway, I'm about to jump in and rig up. I'll turn a couple of cameras on. Let's go do this. So we got me mate Geordie here with his inboard mace. Looks like they're in a field of 3. We'll film a little video. He done really well at his last event, won it actually. Looks like he just got clipped at the end there. The boy does know how to pedal a boat. I'm no inboard guru, but it sounds like he could do a bit more fine tuning on that. Good effort though, Jordy. So we've got the 95-mile circuit race on. I'm rooting for the Queensland boys. Clint in the Deviant and SK in the tunnel down. I really want to see Clint come out on top with me 2.5 fishing motor. Give you a look here, they're just about to start. Fair bit of chop there. Boys are getting a bit out of shape. For a short little circuit race, looked like Clint come third. SK looks like he might have some dramas there with his boat, but those V8s, mate, they just got the torque, and I love the smell of that methanol too. Got young Fletcher down here at Hawkesbury River, running their F4 that they've just got.
It's changing as well as... Yeah. Who knows? You don't know, they come and get you.
Up the locals. A couple of the F1 boats out here, give you a quick look. We've got Lambert Family Racing, which is the young fella that was in my boat, #1 supporter River. This is his dad. Unfortunately, something mustn't be right there with his boat. Bummer. We're back at the cabin, end of day 2 testing. The boat drove a lot better today, having that motor drop down to 50mm below pad. Prop wasn't getting so loose around the corners. I was able to control the boat a lot better via the trim. The boat really was sitting nice and hanging out there. With the boat's motor lower in the water, the prop was able to drive the boat better out of the corners, obviously not pulling the maximum speed that I usually pull in the boat, which enables me to hang around the speed limit category that I'm in, that 75-mile range. So with my foot somewhat planted pretty much 3/4 to not far off flat to the floor, I'm sitting at about 5,200, 5,300 RPM and right on the cusp of that 74, 75 mile mark. So it's able to give me peace of mind that I'm not going to over pedal it and break out, because if I do go 1 mile over, I'm disqualified. So we definitely don't want that. I'd come down here to enjoy the river and the race up and back, and definitely don't want to be disqualified. Charge the cameras again and continue to bring the footage to you. Tomorrow's race day. I hope the videos aren't too long and drawn out, but we definitely needed to do this testing to get it right, so we know where we stand. There's obviously going to be a whole lot of locals here that come and race up this river every weekend. We've only done 2 runs now. 3rd run will be the race. We'll just try and put in a good performance, not let the nerves take over, and enjoy it for what it is, and try and take in everything and enjoy it to the best of our ability. Once again though, it's the camaraderie and the community, the boating scene, all the people that make this worthwhile, and got to talk to a lot of cool people. Stick around and we'll see what race day brings. I'll keep bringing it to you.